Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
It's 50 years of the ShopRite Can sale. Now, ShopRite does the can, selling lots of brands of everything in cans. Now's the time to stock up and save. Now's the time to stock up and celebrate. Shop the can sale at ShopRite.
From award-winning filmmaker Enid Zentalis comes podcast, How My Grandmother Won World War II, a series about a fractured family that unites when they discover their matriarch was possibly a spy for the Allies. Airing January 27th on Spreaker and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what are you guys up to?
Oh, little weed, you know.
It's the Weedsman Podcast Nugget.
Zippity what?
Ready to drop the bass? Let's drop the bass.
Whoop-de-doo. What does it all mean?
All the random stuff that didn't fit in Friday's show you'll find here.
Oh, okay.
Hey, man. You got a joint?
Got a little bit of reef smell on your boy?
What that mean?
Please, just give me my weed, all right?
How old is this fucking mouse? Like, it actually is. I was surprised it didn't have a roller ball in it. Like, it actually had a laser. It looks like it should have an AOL button on it, like a shortcut. Take me to my email. Computer. I follow this dude online who, like, on Twitter. He works on computers. He goes a lot of, like, flea market type of things for electronics. Buys older electronics, refurbs them, probably resells them. And he had an AOL keyboard. It was like an actual AOL license with this row of big blue buttons across the top that was email, sports, news.
Yeah, every now and then.
I'm surprised it wasn't in large print.
Technology, like Roku still tries to do that. Like they have the remotes, they have the dedicated buttons for like Netflix, Hulu. Like,
right, yeah.
Come on, we haven't learned this lesson yet.
Yeah.
Like it evolves so fast. Don't do that. We can't do fixed button technology.
Yeah, we have to have modular technology so that we can have it. That's the whole reason why our media has gone on demand, not just because, but it's because that's what people demanded. Like they said, hey, this is the type of content that we're willing to pay for, so do it.
Yeah.
No more of this, like, I got to set a VCR or a device to, like, let's cut the middleman out.
This is America. I want it now.
Yes.
No, yeah. Today we got a pizza delivered, and it was the Domino's. It's like right up Harper here, and the thing now that their app tells you when it left, and it gets around like 20 minutes. I'm like, what is she on a bike? And Mandy's like, you are complaining about a pizza. I'm like, well then don't tell me when it left.
Right. Right, yeah, sometimes the information doesn't enrich your experience necessarily.
Which I did go, we are about to get a pizza two pizzas in under a half hour.
Right.
Which is awesome. But at the same time, like, don't tell me when you left, because I know where you're at.
Yeah.
Like I said, she on a bike? She pedaling here? 20 minutes.
Right. But this is in our nature. We had the oven, first of all, the oven was like a miracle of technology. Like, this is an affordable way that you can cook a lot of different types of food. Having a
inside
range in your home, no smoke. Then we got the microwave, and the microwave's like, we'll do this shit in like a minute and a half flat, dude.
Yeah.
And you stare at it and you're like, what the fuck? You watch it rotate with malice. Like, this is the longest minute and a half I've waited for macaroni and cheese ever.
And in between in there, the toaster oven jumped in and went, oh yeah? I do the shit on your countertop.
Yeah. The toaster oven, you would think, like, there's no place for the toaster oven anymore.
There's still a place for the toaster oven.
It's making a comeback, too.
Because it is a countertop oven.
Yeah.
You can make things you can make in the oven in the toaster oven.
Well, I think maybe we discussed this, but I don't have a range in the place that I have. And I don't know that I'm going to be there more than a year. And I don't want to invest in a range that is going to be my property that I'm going to have to move into that place and then out of that place. So I had a decent toaster oven already, and I just used that, which I had rarely used the oven when I had it anyway. I got a couple burners, and I got a griddle, and that's it. Oh, and I got a rice maker, which also doubles as making
You're like a college kid. You're like, I got a hot plate and microwave. It's all I need.
Right. I have this array. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of counter space to spread this stuff out on, and I can leave it out. But it's actually much better.
You got George Foreman in there somewhere?
I'm running like a line, like I'm running a kitchen, like a restaurant kitchen. Instead of just having one range that everything's on and you got to switch stuff, it's all spread out on the counter. I can prep everything right in front of it. I have like stations. So you should see me make breakfast, man. I whip out a breakfast in less than a half hour.
Wow.
Of hash browns that go in the toaster oven. The hot plate thing. It's that. Well, I guess it is a hot plate. It looks a little more high tech.
Oh,
you should
get one of those things that's on the infomercials. The countertop ones.
It's just two burners.
The one that they show you. The one that you can touch. What's it called?
Oh, it won't burn you, really?
Yeah, I forget what it's called. It's something heat induction or something like that. But it's the infomercial where they're like,
Really?
look, and the guy like sets his hand on it.
But does it boil water?
Shh. Yeah, no, it's like two burners.
How the fuck does that work?
It's countertop. You have to watch the infomercial. Hold on.
I'm intrigued. Well, because the hot plates that you get, they're nicer, but it still isn't pulling enough wattage. It takes forever to boil water on one of those things. And that's where the rice maker comes into play.
Oh, this thing.
Rice maker actually boils some water pretty handily for you. You can make a lot of different things.
We may have a Ron Popeil sighting. Heads up for Ron Popeil.
Popeil alert 2020.
Oh, no. It just looked like him from a distance.
Oh, some other dude.
That's right. He's dead.
He's that. Isn't that British guy? It's like, you wouldn't believe this.
No, that's the guy who replaced the guy, Billy Blank. Not Billy Blanks. Billy. The guy with the beard who.
Yeah.
He had a heart attack.
I want to call him Billy Baston, but that's Shazam.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I still might be.
The Flex Seal dude.
Initially, he was the OxyClean guy.
Yep.
Well, he died. And now it's the British guy.
But yeah, so griddle opens up, pancakes on one side, French toast on the other, making an omelet on the hot plate.
The following is a paid presentation for the New Wave Precision Induction
I'd do it up.
Cooktop, brought to you by the makers of the #1 selling New Wave
They're
oven.
putting like their food in some kind of biodome.
Really know what the temperature is? No, you're just.
I think it's got to be
question marks.
She's got to be a complete idiot. Like she twists the knob all the way to hot and then back to cold, and then puts her hand over it and shrugs. Like what? Is that how you set the thermostat at home? You just turn it all the way up, all the way down, and then go. I don't feel any different. I don't think this thing is working at all.
Yeah.
Simple press of a button.
They're all press of a button.
Key to great food is knowing how to control it.
And what simple press of a button as opposed to what? Turning of a knob? That's the harder one. We've established that we're so lazy that buttons are harder than knobs to manipulate.
Let's see. So far, we have the testimony of an RV owner and a gardener for this cooktop.
Well, if anybody's going, so this is the one that you can
a business
touch.
executive.
Like it's boiling water.
You can make pasta in half the time thanks to new revolutionary induction cooking technology.
So the stovetop itself isn't hot, but like if you put your hand in that boiling water, you're going to get burned.
Correct. Like the food gets hot. The surface on which you cook it does not.
The magnetic field causes invisible molecules to begin vibrating
Here's the
rapidly,
science.
creating heat. And because there's no flame to catch fire, no hot coils
Oh.
to burn you, the New Wave Precision Induction Cooktop is the safest.
It's kind of more like microwave.
Look what happens with this egg.
This is the.
The cooktop is not. That's the magic of
that's crazy.
induction cooking.
It's small.
It's causing the pan to heat up.
Ooh, a theater makeup artist.
It's not heating up the element and transferring the heat to the pan. It's actually causing the pan to heat up.
Yes.
Which is how a microwave works.
Yeah, I was
Microwave
going to say, it
excites.
actually kind of is like a microwave.
Right.
Microwave heats up the water.
Yeah, but you just have a shorter range.
Because it's portable.
Well, the microwave, not
If
necessarily
you
the
get a
water,
case,
like anything.
you could take it anywhere. She's put it in a case, and she's going to the cookout with the pool.
Dude, seriously, I'm sold on it. I'm chucking my hot plate today. What does $29.95 get me? That and what?
Right.
Do I get a special
look at
pan?
Wah wah! You burned your grilled cheese.
What about over-fried chicken that's all greasy, or dried-out oatmeal, overdone pork chops,
Dried-out
charred
oatmeal?
steak?
From what?
Charred steak. Well, if you like
How
steak
does-
well done,
How does this change at all, though?
All that cheese is melted in there, so delicious.
Like, you still have to monitor it and use your common sense of like, huh?
I think that they're
This
trying
thing's
to sell
turning
you
black.
on the. They're trying to sell you on the that you could set the temperature, and I'm gonna guess you
Yeah.
get the grill attachment
But you
thingy
can
that
set
they're
the
cooking the meat
temperature on
on.
all of them.
You fried your chicken, it was going to be fried at the perfect temperature of 375, gently, perfectly crispy, never soaking up too much oil.
You know, okay, so they're kind of selling me on this too, because that is a beef with stovetops. Like,
You can turn it up and down.
you want to hit a certain temperature, right? But you
Yeah.
just have,
Like, what the fuck does 5 mean?
right? Yeah, they number it, or it's just high, low, medium, high.
You can't help but burn a steak or a pork chop on your
Yeah, you can't help it, Aaron.
You can't help it. Yeah.
bad cook in the kitchen.
You don't have eyes.
Bad cook in the kitchen.
You can't tell that your kitchen is filling with smoke.
Cooking are over thanks to the fine folks here at New Wave, makers of the #1 selling countertop oven in the world.
Well, they've done it.
Well, anyway, I think there's one too where there's
The
where it's like,
countertop oven
I think
is
they
that
make one
viable.
where there's like 2 of them next to each other.
Yeah. Oh, that's the next step. That's the evolution right there. You got to get 2.
Fun. We're going to show you how and why every meal.
But all right, so
We don't need.
yeah, we don't need to watch the half hour.
That's what really gets like. How we watched 5 minutes of this, and I was able to make a decision on whether this was a reasonable product or not.
You don't want to watch the
and
other
whether I was interested in
24
it.
minutes?
What do I need to continue to watch this for?
Because they paid for the airtime. Yeah, now begins the continuous loop that is the infomercial.
Yep. Show some.
There you go.
Some luscious food, a little bit of science.
What's it called? The Precision Induction Cooktop.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
So you saw the Star Wars movie, yeah? We can now have
I
a
did.
spoiler conversation.
Yeah.
A spoiler alert conversation. I don't know what we're gonna have a spoiler full spoilers.
Yeah, if you
What
don't,
am I trying to say?
If you don't want to know what happened, well, too, at this point, by the time the show posts, Star Wars will have been out 3 weeks. So, I mean, the internet will have already done what the internet does.
Although I didn't see a lot of assholes out there spoiling it either. The big thing, Rey being a Palpatine, right?
Which I give J.J. Abrams credit because it's kind of like he is simultaneously trying to fix and end a story.
It's an impossible task. Yes.
I knew what kind of party it was going to be when after the scroll, I said out loud in the theater, "Wow, there's a lot going on there." Like I had that how the scroll was setting 3 different tables to try and fix the fucking story. Like right at the beginning.
Right.
Like it's first paragraph, it's like this is happening, second paragraph, this is happening, third paragraph, this is happening. To try and just like J.J. Abrams is like the first line of it should have been like, fuck. All right. Yeah, like
it would be like the presidential address for Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Shit.
Sorry I took the second movie off. Shit got all fucked up.
Shit's messed up.
Yeah.
We're out of Jedis. Our fucking Skywalkers are dropping like flies.
Yeah, so I mean that, like, there was
we have stable kids with Jedi powers.
There's just one of the things. Yeah, there's just a lot going on for starters. If I had to like lodge it, my main complaint is there is just so much shit.
How much about the decisions that were made in that movie do you think were influenced by the idea of just what's going to piss off the least amount of people, right? Like, how can I finish this and not enrage all these people who are we're mad about The Last Jedi and not enrage the other more progressive, shall we say, fans.
Let's talk with Rich about it. Like, there's rules to the story. JJ was just trying to finish the story by adhering to the rules of the story.
Are you talking about what he set up personally in the...
Well, just mean in general, in the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
He's trying to finish the story by the rules of the story that were set up like 40 fucking years ago.
Right, but as we talked about before, this is twofold, right? This trilogy has to wrap up the old story and open up a new story for us.
Yes.
And for all its faults, I think that's one thing that I've always applauded Rian Johnson for doing, is trying to give us that next step, that next generation of what happens in the Star Wars universe. We have plenty of history of what came before, and sounds like we're going to delve into that with the next movies they're going to do in the High Republic era, as it's called, 400 years prior to the movies that we know. And nothing about the choices that were made in J.J. Abrams' last movie, the Rise of the Skywalker, made me go, okay, what's next? What's next for these characters? I mean, the one dude is a general. Mm-hmm. So what's next for him? I don't know. He's a general. She's a Jedi and a Palpatine. Like, it answers questions.
Well, I guess
absolutely.
I should say what it did. It did do. It answered all the questions I had, and it wraps up everybody nicely.
Right.
Like that's. But
it should also,
that was the goal.
If they want to do a Rey Solo movie, right? Mm-hmm. They have to put something in there, or they don't have to, but they should put something in there that makes you at least intrigued about that character outside of the story that you've been following, and take you something about that. I don't see what about this story makes me somebody who grew up with Star Wars and followed this whole thing intimately want to take that next step with the Star Wars universe. You know, what makes me interested about Rey now? She's a super powerful Jedi, and it turns out she's
like
Palpatine.
What you said a couple weeks ago. For me, it's just kind of like I guess the feeling you said you got, like, oh, it's done, it's over. We finally just put this all to bed.
No, there's satisfaction in wrapping it up nicely and having a nice conclusion, but you're not just. It's
You're
not,
right. I don't want to. The only thing I think
it's not like wrapping up a TV show where nobody's going to do this again, right? Lost doesn't have to worry about what if they want to reboot this, or what if there's another series that spins out of this, or they do a movie. They're just there's
more movies coming. It's just what's coming.
Lost is probably a bad example because it notoriously has a bad ending. Even though I've never seen it, I know that people were rather upset with it.
Like the writers just gave up.
But with a TV show, like you just end your thing, right? And you assume at that point that there's never going to be any more. There may be, but you're assuming not. Star Wars, you're not assuming that. You're making this final Star Wars, or final Skywalker chapter, knowing that there is definitely going to be more Star Wars movies.
Yeah, it's just what are they going to be?
And much like what happens in comic book writing, you know, every writer steps in, wants to reinvent the character, but they also have to know that they can't completely break the toy because somebody has to play with it next.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, now though they can go anywhere.
But on
the
top
Skywalker
of that,
canon is
you
done. Want
to leave something in there that people can that will live on, right? When Grant Morrison, super famous, popular comic book writer, wrote for Batman. Finally, did the Batman series. He's the one who invented Damian as Batman's son of Talia al Ghul, also raised as an assassin, eventually becomes Robin. That character still exists to this day and is very popular. And that's what you want. You're stepping into a property, but what can you bring to it? What did JJ bring to this? Closure is nice, but what did he bring to it to leave his mark on that legacy? His mark on the legacy, from my aspect, is like he was like the priest that speaks at the wedding and didn't really know the funeral, and doesn't really know the guy. But his fans tell me that he was a great guy.
Well, it's because but I think it's too. They should have. I don't know what they were doing. They should have let the same director have all three movies. I think that was clearly. If I default this trilogy, that's your default. You should have had the same, because then they have the same vision happens for all 3 episodes.
I could almost see the logic behind the handoff if that was all they were doing. But they were doing that and the Solo movie and Rogue One and the TV shows and all that. So they had plenty of opportunities to bring in talent and shake things up, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what you do with this trilogy, right? This is for better or worse, this is going to be the crowning achievement of Disney's tenure on Star Wars.
Dude, this is something where even casual fans know the major plot points.
Right.
Like, this is like...
Yeah. So...
Which, okay...
Absolutely, they should have had one person have a vision, take them all the way through it, like they do with the Marvel stuff. You know, James Gunn, they were going to scrap a 3rd Guardians movie because James Gunn wasn't going to need to do it. Mm-hmm. They were actually considering. Eventually, I think they would have come to their senses and went, "No, we're not leaving money on the table." But it was an issue, right? Just to have a huge company like Disney look at money and scratch their chin for a second and think about it is progress.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to they know what they're really doing here. Yes, they're making a shit ton of money off of people who are in love with properties, you know, in love with cartoons and superheroes and all this stuff, right? But they also know that they owe something to those fans, too. And I'm not saying like this type of shit like we're owed something from our entertainment. I don't feel entitled, but I enjoy art that the people making it all the way up to the top feel like they have something on the line here. We got to make this good because me and many other people like me are going to judge it and their future with this company by this experience.
I look at it,
and it's going to be personal, right? I don't want to make it personal, but I like it when artists consider that.
My reaction to the last movie was I wanted to find the manager of the theater and say, like, dude, can I get a free popcorn, like a coupon for like a free beverage, like something, like a half-price ticket? And like my reaction,
you need somebody named Karen.
Yeah, and then and then my reaction to this one was like, So I was like, it was an improvement over the last one, but dude, like I said, JJ had to fix a lot of shit that was just. Like that Rian Johnson just tried to just toss away. Like there's rules to the game. That Rian Johnson just tried to be like, doesn't apply in my movie. Again, the fact that they tried to say the Force is in everyone. No, it's not. This whole story is based on. No, it's not.
The quote unquote rules of the Star Wars universe are ones that are just come from the prior movies. Obviously, you can break those rules. You just have to do it in an engaging and interesting way that makes people go, well, I wouldn't have thought that, but it makes the story so much cooler that I'm willing to accept that.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have thought that Rey was a Palpatine, but that's such a good twist that I'm accepting it.
I'll tell you, that never came into my mind of what she was. Of everything that I thought Rey was, her being a Palpatine it was not even in my realm of possibilities. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't find it shocking per se, but I have to admit I didn't, I wasn't, and there's only so many options, right? Who else is she going to be? First of all, how many last names do we know in the Star Wars universe of people that don't look like aliens?
Well, that's a fair point. But it's also
are there
like
more
J.J.
than you can count on one hand? And Lana doesn't count because... Unless she's adopted.
But it's also like J.J. Abrams went, fuck. He tried to say she's not in this bloodline. How do I plausibly bring her back into the bloodline? Who's still fucking left?
Right.
She's Palpatine's granddaughter,
it's not about that she is specifically part of the Skywalker bloodline, which obviously turns out she's not, even though she does take the name, which is one of the more... So there's a lot of interesting things going on here that I think were just not lineage. They were just poorly executed. Yeah, that was it. JJ was true to the rules of this is inherited.
Yes.
Rian Johnson was like, no, it's not, and JJ was like, hey, guess what?
Fuck, you said
I get the final say on it.
James said, what the fuck are you talking about? And I don't know, the one-liners. Can we knock it off with the one-liners?
What were the ones that
they were just
stuck out for you in this one? None of them.
Here's what stuck out to me in this one.
Yeah.
The thing that made me laugh out loud had no lines. It was the head nods at the end. Was the only thing that he did that actually made me. When he saw Zora, the spice runner, and they gave each other the nod, and then he tried to do the
chick in the helmet.
Yeah, when he gives her the
so he gives her a nod.
They see each other from across the
Poe does.
Yeah, Poe gives her the nod, like
right. Sup?
That'll do pig nod.
Okay, yeah, nice job.
And then gives her the sup nod. Afterwards.
Oh, right. Like, maybe you and I can talk afterwards.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. Yeah. All right, I got you.
That was of all of the comic devices they gave him, that was the one that actually made me laugh. And he didn't say anything.
Yeah, I remember there being, well, obviously, Boba Frick. Was that his name? Bubba Frick?
Oh, the little, I know who you're talking about. Baba, the
little guy.
Yeah, he was funny.
I thought he was funny too. Yeah. That worked for me.
Me too.
Other than that, the obvious comic relief of that, I know there were other jokes. I just don't remember any of them. And the fucking lamp, like, what was the point of that? Other than, as I said before, to translate for BB-8.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
the lamp that was like, "Hi, I'm friendly." But obviously,
the megaphone on a wheel,
severely abused.
Yeah.
So they might as well just put a puppy in the movie that always had its tail between its legs and shrank down into nothing when anybody waved their hand.
Yeah.
It was like that was just a bizarre choice. I don't know what the point of it was. It certainly doesn't seem to be to sell toys. You think people would want to?
Yeah. Hey, buy the dirty down broken droid toy.
Right. You run around your house, it's like, please don't touch me.
Yeah, right. And I don't know are you a fan of Luke Eastwood? That's my favorite description I've heard of him. Get off my lawn, Skywalker. He essentially showed up to go, stop being a bitch, and here's the X-Wing fighter. Like, that's the whole role he played in this movie. Stop being a little bitch. Here's the X-Wing. I'm out.
I was completely unaffected by his appearance. I kind of expected him to pop up. I'm surprised that they didn't have, like, the big moment of her using the power of all the Jedi to defeat Palpatine. And they did it all with voiceovers. And I'm like, but Force Ghosts are a thing. Like, this is a thing that we've seen since the first movie. And Obi-Wan gets struck. Wait, does he appear in the first one, or is that not until Empire? He gets struck down at the end of Star Wars, but does he actually appear? His voice is heard. But anyway, he's not till Empire. His Force Ghost doesn't actually pop up until he goes to see Yoda.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, and another thing that kind of took me out of the
Force
movie.
Ghosts are a thing. They should have done the whole thing. They could have done a conga line. They could have each whipped out a lightsaber.
As I've had more than one podcast bring to my attention, it's the same fucking story.
Oh,
it's the first three.
Oh, yeah.
It's just Rey is now Luke. Luke is now Yoda.
Yeah.
Now that I've noticed that, I was like, God damn it, why'd that have to be pointed out to me?
You thought you were nobody. Turns out you're somebody, but you also have, skeletons in your closet that you're going to have to overcome.
Yeah. Oh, and one more, another thing. The CGI with the guy who's been dead for 20 years, cool. With the person who's been dead for 3 years, weird.
Yeah. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit of floaty face syndrome.
Because the first thing I thought, I made this how I'm weird for saying, I thought, I was like, is her family cool with this?
Honestly,
like,
when she was like, I'm going to go talk to Ben now, and lay down and died.
Like, does she have kids?
I thought of Poochied when he's like, I have to go to my home planet now. just drag the cell off the screen. Leia was just like, I have to go away now. And just like she might as well have just turned and walked into a wall and just tried to keep walking like a video game glitch.
I have to go back to my home planet now.
And
then they turn what's his face into a bitch.
Who?
Adam Driver. What's his goddamn character's name?
Okay, so I liked his arc overall. I thought he did a great job with the character.
I can't remember his name.
I really Kylo.
Kylo, there we go. Ben. Yes,
that was one of the elements. There was a couple things that worked for me. Okay, so Chewie worked for me all throughout the movie, from the fake out death to the getting a medal.
I was mad when I thought that's how they did him. I was like, really? That's how we're wrapping up Chewie?
But it works in that way too. And I thought they handled Chewie really well. I thought C-3PO's story was handled really well. Him, losing his memory, getting it back. I thought he had some of his best lines in any of the movies in there, or C-3PO lines. That is not best lines ever. And the story between Ben and Rey, the connection, the romance thing, I'm not into. I looked at the kiss. That was not a passionate kiss, right?
Well, because at the end when she goes, I'm a Skywalker, I'm like, well, then you just kissed your cousin.
Right. But that kiss between her and Ben, to me, was, and from what I saw on the screen, too, from how it was portrayed, it was not a kiss of passion. This is not I've wanted to do this for so long and I am now giving in because I might not have the opportunity to again. This was just the ultimate. It was a more familial kiss of I care about you deeply and I don't want you to leave. And it was really just symbolic because you needed something. I mean, what do you really have to represent the Force, right? We have lightsabers, we have Force ghosts, and we have lightning. What is Ben supposed to do in order to literally give life to Rey? That's what he did. He made that ultimate sacrifice. And it was set up throughout the movie in their connection. Those scenes where they shared a reality, even though they were in two different places and things could cross over. I didn't ask why, because they were engaging scenes and they told me part of the story about these two characters. And it made sense to me. And their connection with the breathing. There's these scenes where like they're breathing at the same rate when they're in the same place together. And they're experiencing the same things. And they seem to have the same amount of power. They're almost greater in power when they're fighting each other. That connection, I thought, was beautifully laid out throughout the movie, culminated quite well. So there are some great bones to this movie. It makes a lot of weird decisions. It crams in a lot.
It's cool to see Han one more time.
And I liked the scene with Han. That was another thing that worked for me. So yeah, overall,
like for me, like as far as rankings, like it's in the middle. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
it's not at the bottom with Jar Jar and The Last Jedi, but it definitely ain't at the top with The Force Awakens and The Sith. Because as far as me, the last 9 movies, those are the two best as far as Force Awakens and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
those are the two at the top. We know the two at the bottom, and then everything else is just, I don't know, Attack of the Clones.
And also talking about things that did work, the Emperor worked for me too. Him coming, not actually being dead, being, that's an additive thing.
You didn't question it. You didn't go, hey, wait a minute.
But that's the thing. You were talking about breaking rules earlier. And while I agree with you, JJ did break some rules. And he said, okay, the Force can keep you alive. It's not just, you can keep on going on as a Force ghost if your body dies. It's you, if you are powerful enough, you can, even if your body dies on you, you can hold on to it. And that's his ultimate mistake, right? Mm-hmm. The not trusting to go that he would be more powerful in death, not wanting to let go of power. And that's part of the story of Star Wars too, is the boomers have to relinquish some power at some point to the millennials, whether they trust them to go to the light side or the dark side or not. That's why the emperor is the ultimate evil, because he just refuses. He just accumulates more and more power and leverages that to oppress people. And it's a story about our society.
Oh yeah, trust me, I caught it a lot. The thinly veiled, or not so thinly veiled, political references weren't lost on me either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree. I wouldn't call them references because I don't think they were specific. I mean, I think if you viewed this in 20 years, you would need curriculum to give you. You wouldn't get that from it unless you had like
true
something to give you like and even just putting on paper like, okay, this guy with orange hair was like president. It was weird.
Yeah.
It's not gonna convey. Who knows? Like, things feel chaotic now. Who knows how they'll look in hindsight? But I agree. I just think it's the way that the chaotic nature of our political and social environment just is spraying out into art. It's just unavoidable, right?
And yeah, boy, you were right about Rose. Like JJ was like, well, shit, we're stuck with this character. Yeah. How do we still keep her in the story?
And how much do I owe to this character?
Yeah.
Right? I've got a multitude of characters that have a lot more history with this franchise than Rose.
Yeah.
So.
It too, because it's like, you're right. No, guys, it's cool. Even though you need every pilot you can get, I'll be back here.
Right. But Rose has to do something, right?
Yeah.
And also, somebody has to hang out with Leia. Leia has to have somebody to talk to and interact with. And they had such a little amount of Leia to work with that just it's, I don't know.
Although it just dawned on me, they never wrapped what Finn was going to say to Rey. They never gave you an answer to that one.
That was one of the things that I liked that they left implied. That's one of those things that they're nice devices to set up, but they almost never pay off. It's why you don't put gods in your story, because God is supposed to know everything. And at some point, if somebody has to talk to God, they're going to ask him, what the fuck? And they're going to expect an answer.
And they had
yes.
And they had to get those goddamn Ewoks in there one more fucking time, didn't they? Like, I wanted to just go, boo!
You're chucking your popcorn at them.
She just put Jar Jar in there with them. And then, on the timeline, there's no opportunity to shoehorn in Baby Yoda. Because isn't the Mandalorian, like, way after? Or way before?
He would be, I think, petulant teen Yoda.
Yeah.
At that point. He'd be like...
I hate you, Dad, Yoda. I want to do this, Dad.
He would have grown a half foot, but not got any wider. So he'd just be like stretched out Yoda, and he'd have like a few hairs, long hairs, like mule hair sticking out of his chin.
Teenage mustache Yoda.
Right. He's got that dirt stash. And he still does the Force, but it's mostly just so he doesn't have to get off the couch.
Yeah. Bring some nachos.
Right.
He uses the Force to beat people at Madden.
Rey's trying to explain to him, like the Force power has to come from somewhere. Like, it all has a price. It doesn't just come out of thin air. And he's like, these nachos came out of thin air.
Yeah. You know what's cool about the Force? Jerking off with no hands. Like, that's the thing about the Force. What?
Like, if
your awkward teenage years, you would do some fucked up shit with the Force.
If you can choke a man with the Force.
Yeah.
Then you can choke your chicken.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's like the stranger.
Like Darth Vader saying, and you're like, wait.
It's like sitting on your hand till it's
numb.
What
are you doing, sir? Wait. Give me 10 seconds.
The stormtroopers are there like, did he fall asleep? I think he's,
Yeah.
No, I don't know what. Is he taking a shit right now? How do Jedi shit? No, dude, he's fucking masturbating right now. Just don't make eye contact.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because he makes you look until he's done.
He'd be force choking himself. That would be the safest way to engage in autoerotic asphyxiation.
With the force?
If you were just force choking yourself, as soon as you passed out, then you would stop choking yourself.
That's true.
You wouldn't pass out with a belt around your neck. And, being a Jedi isn't an easy job. So all I'm saying is don't judge. don't kink shame the Jedi, all right? I'm sure they've choked a lot of things.
Yeah, and they're out in the forest for years training. Gets lonely.
That's the other thing. Having sex with a Jedi, they don't even have to put their finger up your butt.
Right.
They can stimulate the prostate with their powers. Of course, that's why you don't do it with the Sith, because it always seems to be lightning with those guys, right?
Oh, those two.
They'll stimulate your prostate, but it has to come out of their fingertips. Like,
right. Well, I think the road we're heading down here is Jedis wouldn't need sex.
Yeah, I think so. Jedis are like nobody fucks me like I fuck me, all right?
Yeah.
Like,
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
You can get up to $700 this month and make a real difference in someone's life when you donate plasma. Find your local CSL Plasma Center and donate today.
ChristopherMedia.net. If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.